Going live. And hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Welcome to the Local 303 Meetup. My name is Alicia Sweeney, and I curate this thing here at Colorado Public Radio that we call the Local 303. Welcome to our monthly get-together and all of our current artists for December. We're sponsored by Stem Ciders, so big shout out to them. And here's how the next hour is gonna work. We host little micro interviews. I do it myself with all of the featured artists of the month, and there's also gonna be 2 live performances. But I'm not alone. I've got my co-host, Bruce Trujillo. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, I have to always remember to unmute myself during these things anymore.
Oh, yeah. Hi, good to see you and good to see everyone. I'm so excited to connect. And I should mention this is live, we're on Zoom, things may glitch, it's 2020, it's fine. And hello to everyone that's streaming us from our website or on YouTube. It's very cool to have you here. On YouTube, you can comment, ask questions to the bands, or interact in any way, and we'll be told that, and we can ask each of the groups if you have anything you want to mention to them. We've got 2 performances. Sarah Slaton's gonna do a holiday song, Brittany Jane and Donny Blow are gonna perform a Brittany song as well. And before we get started, Bruce, I wanted to let you know Sarah is doing a holiday song, and I know you don't like holiday music.
Okay, there's been actually a few that have come out this year so far that I don't absolutely hate, including that new one from Poor Lolo. I'm also looking forward to Sarah's. So it must be something up in northern Colorado that's like pretty decent with holiday music. So I'm cool with it. I'm gonna allow it.
Okay, you're making an exception. How about holiday movies? Do you have a favorite holiday movie?
Yeah, when you said you were gonna ask about holiday movies, it was instantly Elf. Like there is no other holiday movie for me. That's it. That's all I want to watch. It's hilarious every single time. What about you? What's your favorite?
Know him. I'll go a little bit earlier, Home Alone, but specifically because I associate it with like my grandma taking me to see it at the theater. Like I was the youngest of 4 kids, so I never got like grandma time with alone. So being in the theater alone with my grandma watching Home Alone, that's my fave. All right, we should ask all the bands about their favorite holiday films, and let's get started right now. I want to say hello to our friends in the band Despair Jordan. You guys can all unmute. We've got Thomas, we've got Josh and Danny and Maddie here in this little musical squares. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Hanging in there.
Yeah, hanging in.
Yeah, right? What's your favorite holiday films?
Gotta go with Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's a Christmas movie.
Totally a Christmas movie.
I always like that movie, The Ref, with Dennis Leary. It's a Christmas movie. It's a little rough, but
I've never seen it. I'll have to put it on my list.
The Ref, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the Santa Claus. I watched 1 and 2 this week, but they're completely unbelievable movies, so I don't support them anymore.
Is that the Home Improvement, Tim Allen?
Yeah, Aurora, Colorado's finest.
Yeah.
Is he from here, or did he just get arrested here?
He's gotten arrested here for sure. A few times.
Well, talking about Despair Jordan, from what I understand, did this band start during quarantine?
No, just before. It started Maddie's birthday party last year.
And okay, so I want to hear more. And also my follow-up question is, what came first, the band name or the band?
The band for sure. It was just kind of an idea. Like we've all played together before, and I had a batch of songs that were different from the other band that I'm in, and I was kind of like, oh, if I form a band, I get to pick who's in it. So it just kind of became an exercise of like, hey, who are my friends that I don't get to spend enough time with? So it was kind of like, just because all our friends are basically musicians at this point. So it was really easy to kind of go through and be like, oh, all right, I'm just going to ask my best friends to be in this band. So it was just kind of, I got to pick who, it was me just kind of going through and picking like who, I wanted to help me kind of make these songs a reality.
Yeah. So they were songs that you had written?
The ideas for them.
Gotcha.
I kind of had the basic idea, and then, I kind of brought it up to Maddie because like I said, he and I had played together before, and just kind of brought it up. I'm like, hey, you know, have these songs, like they kind of sound like this. You want to get together and start writing them. And then we asked Andy to play drums, and he said no. And then so of course, like it was like, okay, should we, you know, go look and find another drummer? And I was like, nah, we'll just wait him out.
And it worked.
Yeah,
waited Danny out too.
That's true. Yeah. It was a waiting game.
Right. Yep. So this upcoming release, what can you tell us about it? We know that we're playing songs from it on Indie 102.3. I know it's called Before Your Wings Gave Out. I know Snappy Little Numbers is putting it out. What else can you tell us? Street date or?
January 18th is the official release date. And yeah, I mean, we originally were going to call it something else, and now it's called Before Your Wings Gave Out. And I'll let Josh speak to kind of any themes around it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just, it started out as kind of like just the general sound of it. And then as far as, you know, the lyrics sort of revolve, and the general songs sort of revolve around like us being at like kind of a more, I don't want to say mature because we're not, but I want to say like a little bit like further along in our careers, such as they have been. And just like a little bit of perspective, sort of like looking back on the things that have happened to us, and, you know, people that are still around and people that are unfortunately not still around anymore, and just sort of kind of looking back on like what the experience has been thus far. And I'm really excited just because, you know, these guys have taken, you know, the songs that I had these basic ideas for and just added so much to them. Like, we didn't really know we were making a guitar record until we got into the studio with Danny and like listened to how it all came together. So I'm just really excited, like, you know, sonically, and the guy that we recorded the album with, Chris Fogel, did an amazing job of like just really making us sound as good as I think I've ever sounded, you know, if I've personally ever sounded on record. So I'm really excited for people to hear it.
He's a good person to ask to do that for you guys. So let's look forward a little bit. Maddie, I want to know from you, for those that don't know you, you also co-own the venue, the High Dive.
Yep.
You work in the music industry. Thoughts on when we're going to return to live music?
Oh man, we were talking about this. It seems like the general consensus is maybe July or the summertime, later in the summer, that we'll start to return a little bit. You know, there's definitely going to be a day where the governor and the mayor do a really long, boring Zoom meeting and say like, okay, on July 3rd, everything can be open again. At least that's what we're hoping for. And so it's exciting to think about that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that we might be able to be in a room together and make loud noise and have fun. But, you know, it's still like 6 months away. So.
Yeah. Well, we miss seeing you guys at High Dive, and
we miss all you guys too.
Right? This is rad that you guys started a new project. We got to keep moving on. We are going to be talking with Caitlin Williams up next. I've been wanting to meet her for a while. Ooh, Mike Trujillo has his High Dive hat.
And I represent
merch.
My man.
All right. I am going to be speaking with Caitlin Williams. I am Bruce Trujillo. Caitlin, I have seen you around Denver. We've known each other for a couple of years now. You went to school, though, at the Jacobs School of Music, studied jazz. Now you're here in Denver, making moves, becoming like best new pop artist, named by 303 magazine. So tell me about your journey from like going to school, studying jazz, and then coming here to Denver and making music.
Yeah, so that's a long kind of journey. I actually am from Colorado, so I didn't just go to Indiana. I'm not like an Indiana person, I'm from here, but my voice teacher in high school was like, you need to study classical voice. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you got to become an opera singer. And I was like, okay. So I believed her. And that's literally what I did. So when I went to Indiana, I was actually started out as a classical voice major. Then I changed my major to jazz. Mostly because I wanted to be an actual legit musician, and sorry to like be kind of shady about that, but many of the singers that I worked with in school didn't really even know like what a C major 7 chord was. And I was really interested in that. Like I really wanted to know what that stuff was. So Then I did 3 years of jazz there and then got my degree, and I've been doing not jazz ever since. So yeah.
So new EP out last year called Sunset. Got you that title of Best Pop Artist from 303 Magazine. And you're also currently working on a new EP, new projects, potentially new album. So tell me about new music that you're making here and now. There's also a couple of videos over at our website, indie1023.org.
Yeah, I'm sitting on quite a bit of music. And honestly, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm waiting for a sign. Give me a sign. You know what I mean? I don't know what the sign is yet, but I kind of have a Kayla Marquis vibe going on. Shout out to Kayla with a right brain, left brain thing. It's not like that, but I have like kind of a poppier side of songs and then kind of a darker, more guitar-y vibe. So yeah, I'm thinking I will release some things in February of the dark side of the moon. Just
kind of towards the end of winter when we all need a pick-me-up.
Yeah,
so
but we're so sad.
Yeah, you've been making a lot of music with folks here in Denver. Is there anybody here, and I'm going to ask this to a couple people tonight, but is there anybody here in Denver that you haven't worked with that you do want to work with potentially when we're able to meet up again?
Yeah, Danae, I can't see you on my screen, but I think you're so dope. Oh yeah, I can see you. There you are. I think you're so dope. I've been a fan ever since I heard one note out of your voice. So, yeah, I think Danae, that'd be dope. Also Brittany, I love Brittany so much. She's one of my faves. And, yeah, I can't wait to hear you sing.
Yeah, let's make all of that happen. And before I let you go, because we have more people to talk to, what is your favorite holiday movie?
Oh God, I was hoping you wouldn't ask this. Truthfully, I'm terrible with movies. I will watch a movie and then forget it by the next day, and then the next day I will watch it again and be like, "Oh, I saw that movie." Let's say something Halloween-y, because that's a holiday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Let's say The Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's also Christmassy. I don't know.
That's a double one, double whammy. Perfect. All right, Caitlin, it was good to catch with you and see you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to hand it back over to Alicia, and we're going to get to know Danae a little bit better.
Woo!
Yeah. Hey, Danae, you can unmute.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
Hi, happy holidays. What is your favorite holiday film?
My favorite holiday film is definitely The Grinch. Only because Jim Carrey, like, he did his thing with that. It was very believable that the Grinch was a real person. So I love the Grinch. I love the cartoon too. That's also my son's favorite, is the Grinch cartoon.
It's so iconic. So yeah. You've been pretty busy as like an independent businesswoman during this time, it seems. Like, how are you doing? How are you surviving?
I'm crazy right now. I'm trying to be like okay with myself. I think I sent you like a thank you email a while back, and I loved it because your response was, "We're just doing the best that we can." And so I've been running with that all month. Is I'm doing the best that I can, and all I can do is hope that other people are as well. But yeah, I'm just I'm working on music. I've been working on music. I launched a denim line, and I have been like in the works with getting things done for WCW Live, which is an all-female showcase platform that I usually do. Obviously, everything is shut down, but before everything got like really, really shut down, we were gonna do like an outside showcase where we had some super dope female artists come out and perform. So shout out to Kayleen, because I'm a huge fan of you as well, girl. I'm like always all over your Facebook live videos, but yeah, I'm making it. I'm all over the place, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah, you're a multi-hyphenate for sure, where you make clothes, you make music. I do want to focus in on music. Is it kind of on the back burner for you now?
No, not at all. So I've recorded so much during this pandemic. I had released a song. It was kind of like a dance hall reggae song at the beginning of the year in April. Which was so annoying. It was it was the worst time to release because it's like it was snowing, so nobody could vibe. Like, it was such a summer vibe. So it was just a really rough rollout. But I'm excited to just kind of like re-release that record next year and have like these dope visuals for everything that I've been working on. So yeah, still happening.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we are running out of time. I want to say everybody stick around. We're about 10 minutes away from a performance from Brittany Jane and Donny Blow. And up next, we have a band that shares Bruce's namesake, although they are not related. Danae, thank you so much for joining us and good to get to know you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we don't know if we're actually related. It could be, it's totally possible. Going to speak with the Trujillo company consisting of Mike and Lenny. And I see your guys' posters there. And I got mine right here too, because Trujillo.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So my favorite thing, the way that we actually met was through a podcast that you both were on. Alicia and I were actually on like 2 weeks before. And so it's called Behind the Scene by Sean Cobb. He's in Plumeria, another local band. When I just saw the Trujillo company, I was like, should I be best friends with these people? And then we became best friends and got to play bass with you guys one time. And here you are in the local 303. So I got to know though, are you guys related? How did you guys meet?
A birthday party for a mutual friend, Jim Beasley. We have done some lineage tracing and we are not related, but rock and roll has unified us in the womb somehow. So. But you know, Lenny, it was meant to be at that birthday party, I suppose.
Yeah. So Mike plays guitar, Lenny plays drums like a beast. What are you guys' influences? Because it sounds like you guys have been playing together for a really long time. You seem to connect really well, just as the duo. So what brings you guys together? What brought you guys together? What musical influences do you share?
Oh yeah, definitely. Zeppelin and Sabbath are like, you know, key building blocks in the way that we groove together. And I'm a big AC/DC, ZZ Top guy from back in the day. But I think we really unite around the Beatles. Surprisingly, you know, there's a lot of Beatles influence in our writing. And I don't know, what else you got in there, Lenny? What are some other bands?
Yeah, I mean, Queens of the Stone Age is one of the conversations that we had when we first met. And then Mike called me like 7 years later. He's like, hey, you still want to jam? And I was like, sure. So I wasn't really doing anything at the time. So it was refreshing coming from LA to be able to jam in something like this, which I was looking for. So. But Beatles, Soundgarden, a lot of the early 90s stuff was a huge influence on us as well, individually and as a band. So just tons of stuff. I mean, everything under the sun.
All right. And you guys have the EP that came out back in 2018, which is what these posters are from. A couple of singles out now. Do we have any new releases coming out in 2021?
Yeah, I think we're planning on it. Trying to be a little safe in our approach with the studio, but I think we're going to link back up with Brandon Whalen from My Body Seems Electric. We recorded Follow the Leader with him in his little tiny garage, and it sounds huge and massive. So why not keep that fire in the bottle and shoot off some more singles here next year.
And how do you guys do your writing also? I mean, it's the two of you and you guys work with some other amazing folks here in town. So kind of take me through the writing process of Follow the Leader, for example.
I was writing a riff in my basement playing while my daughter was playing with Legos, and it just kind of started coming in on a loop, and I heard some words in my head and immediately grabbed my iPhone and started laying down what would be the groundwork. I sent it to Lenny and he was like, cuz we got to work on this. And really in the first
his impression all the time.
Listen here, cuz. But you know, literally that next rehearsal we had, I think we laid down the total groundwork for what it would be. And a little over time there with Brandon, we kind of, you know, really manicured it and brought it to life to what it is today. So.
All right. Well, I am looking forward to hearing more, obviously, from the Trujillo company. It's good to see you guys, cousins. And I got to ask what your favorite holidays movies are. And Mike and I know that there are kids running around these houses, but what are your guys' favorite holiday movies?
Die Hard for sure. It's the number one. It's me and my dad, we used to watch that every Christmas. So that's my go-to.
Hell yeah.
I
Money.
see there.
I think Christmas Vacation is one of my favorites. I love
Yeah,
Chevy
that's a good
Chase. He's funny. So. Good to see you,
Absolutely.
cousin Bruce.
Good to see you, cousins. All right, I'm going to hand things back to Alicia. We're going to talk with Brittany Jane up next.
Hey, Brittany, I'm looking for you on my little Zoom screen.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, so we're going to chat a little bit before you perform.
Yes.
And I understand you're back home at your parents' house in Virginia
Yes.
right now.
I am.
You trekked across the country.
Yes, it was a 24-hour drive, a super long drive, but worth it. You know, I'll be out here for almost a month. So, you know, I'm excited to just see my mom and my stepdad and be home because I haven't been home in like a year. So I was feeling a little homesick and I was like, yeah, let's just make this drive. So, yeah.
I mean, that is one thing with the pandemic, you know, you can take that time. Okay, so before we chat music, favorite holiday film?
I'm gonna say it's between Polar Express and A Christmas Story with Ralphie. So yeah, those are my two favorite ones. Honestly, it's kind of like the same. So yeah, and I love Christmas. So all Christmas movies because it's like my favorite holiday. So
Nice.
yeah.
I remember reading your profile and you said when you were little that you would entertain your family in karaoke. So set the scene for me. Would you karaoke holiday tunes or what was your favorite song to do? Give me an anecdote.
Motown for sure. I love the Temptations, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight. Like those were my favorite songs to do. So anything really Motown. That's really it. So yeah.
Well, and that's helped you because you've been a backup singer for some Colorado musicians. You've contributed to songs from Lee Clark Allen and Kid Astronaut, to name a couple. But now this year you've put out some original music. Yes. Tell me about your musical journey going solo and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I am so thankful that I've had such great examples. Also, because I was singing, I still sing for Kayla Marquis, and between Kayla and Lee Clark Allen, I've just learned a lot about the business music side of things, and Mawule as well. So it was just, I felt like this was the right time, you know, especially with COVID and everything. And I was able to like get focused and really put my ideas out there. And I was like, okay, as soon as the studio opens back up, I'm going in, and that's what I did. So yeah, it's been really exciting. But kind of like up and down because I'm like, I'm not sure how everyone's gonna feel about it, but you know, you just got to take that risk as an artist. So yeah.
In a few minutes, you're gonna perform your song Blossom for us. Tell us something about the song that we may not know.
Yeah, so actually this song was originally called Flowers. And Donny Blow, who you'll also meet, my other half, he actually had his own version of it. And I was like, so what are you gonna do with this song? And he's like, nothing. I was like, great, I'm gonna make a girl version of that and kind of flip everything around because, you know, I was like, I feel like women, we need like an anthem and you know, kind of just feel better about ourselves because I feel like sometimes we're so hard on how we look and, you know, just a whole bunch of things. And I was like, I kind of want to put something together and make it for those people to feel good about themselves. So yeah, so that's how that came about. So it was originally called Flowers and I was like, let's change it to Blossom. So, because you're blossoming into this wonderful person and loving yourself. So yeah.
Very nice sentiment. And I'm so glad I got a chance to talk with you. So we'll give you a few minutes to get ready. And Bruce, you're going to talk with Brittany's other half, Donny Blow, which I didn't know that you guys were together when I reached out to you guys to feature you in the local celebrity. So, anyways, thank you.
It's a Festivus miracle. Donny, hi, nice to see your face and kind of meet you. love your new stuff. You have a new album out now called The Tea is Silent. Came out this past summer, a collection of short songs. So tell me about writing this album and keeping all of these songs super short and really easily digestible.
Well, that's the main key of it. I was trying to make it as really digestible and easy to just listen to. Not a lot of people, attention span is not as keen no more. So I wanted to develop something called, I call it popcorn music, and just able to just pick up and just eat and just jam for what do you like, depending on what song you like. If you're feeling kind of blue, if you feel like you have some money on you, listen to some money, just a little bit of everything, just to, sprinkle around. Yep.
Oh, I love that popcorn music. You also talk about your writing style and your flow. You started doing poetry in high school, and I love the crossover between doing poetry and then going into musicianship, because they're really similar but also very different. So tell me about stepping into creating music after starting poetry in high school.
Well, it was a little bit easier. Actually, it was a little bit harder due to the fact that I had to write to a beat. But I always, with my poetry in particular, I would actually just write, in rhymes, and yes, and the song has to have a structure, kind of. You have to fit in within the 16 bars and things like that. But when it comes to poetry, it doesn't have to be like that. You kind of just have to, feel what you feel, and and just express. And the performing actually helped me a lot. Performing poetry helped me a lot when actually performing on stage, rapping as well.
And you're also a part of another group in Florida called Cap 6. You're also an actor. You're also a model. You do all of these different things. So tell me if they kind of help one another out, or if you kind of have to separate your different projects, or how do you keep everything organized in your mind?
I have a file cabinet in my brain. No, but I just, it's really easy to kind of do almost everything, because it's all of it for me personally. My main goal is to be an entertainer, one of the greatest entertainers I could possibly be. And for me to do that, I have to tap into just really my, I call it in your gut feeling. The gut is where all your emotions, you draw all your emotions from your gut. And that's how I kind of, use all my talents and secrets is through the gut. Because if you don't feel well, if you don't feel good about anything, it's not through your head. You don't feel, yes, you get headaches, but when you don't feel good about someone, or you don't like that person, you get a gut feeling about it. And from that feeling, I draw all my artistic, feelings from. So it's really easy to kind of just bounce around, especially when it comes to acting.
Well, and that's because that's all you making all those decisions. All right. We're getting closer to this performance, but before I let you get back to Brittany, tell us your favorite holiday movie.
Elf.
Yes. All right, I think Elf and Die Hard are neck and neck, so everybody make some good choices after this. All right, we're gonna get to a performance from Brittany Jane and Donny Blot. Donny, nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Started playing.
How come I gotta forgive every day? You walk around acting like you ain't done no silly shit. Silly boy, silly boy. Trying to run my mind, trying to protect your heart, and I forgot about mine. But then I woke up one day, 'cause I can't stand your ways. No. It's time for me to leave, it's time for me to go. Gotta do what's right, gotta let you go. 'Cause I'm a flower, I got the power. I look so good, I'm about to blossom.
You a flower in a concrete. You can blossom all around me. Yeah.
I'm a flower, I got the power. I look so good, I'm about to blossom.
You a flower in a concrete. Yeah. You can blossom all around me. See, so I saw this little flower and I like to see her bloom. It's my confidence that shows the proof. I like to shower you because I want to see you grow to how it could be. But when you see me, can you put us in the Cleaver vibe? Did you catch the lies? Cause roses really smell like woo woo. Wait until the night, until the sun do. Consuming all that negativity until you breathe through. Look at how we don't do ooh. You a flower, yeah, you got the power. You look so good, you about to blossom. Yeah, let me see it blue, let me see it blue. I gotta.
It's what it is, can be what it can be. All I can do is start loving. It's what it is, can be what it can be. All I can do is start loving me. I'm a flower, I got the power. I look so damn good, I'm about to blossom. I'm a flower, I got the power. I look so good, I'm about to blossom.
You're a flower in my concrete. You can blossom all around me.
Yeah, blossom, 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 yeah.
Sorry about the loud noise. The mic decided to work at the last minute.
We're just taking it minute by minute. It's okay. And it's great. You pulled it off. Shout out to your parents' house.
Yes.
In
Thank
Virginia.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll keep moving on with the local 303. Thanks again to our sponsor, Stem Ciders, for being there with us this month. Up next is Chris Drecke. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Alicia and everybody.
Great to see you. It's been a while in real life. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Right? So for those that know you in the music scene, we should mention for a moment and remind folks that your old band is Chimney Choir. And from what I understand, after 10 years together, because everybody's just moving and everything, Chimney Choir no longer together, right?
We are not together. We're in a sort of like pause moment. We still really love working together. We are scattered a bit. Kevin moved to Tucson, so you know, we hesitate to maybe it's just denial, but we're not ready to admit that we're not doing things anymore. If that is the truth.
So then tell me about deciding to do a solo record. When did this transition happen?
Yeah, I have kind of always felt like I did things a little bit backwards. I jumped into that band before I even made any music as an individual. And that collaboration was 10 years strong and taught me so much about collaborating and about songwriting. And I always have had this curiosity of like, what would I write separate from my chimneys? So yeah, and then things started to shift a little bit. I would take some solo writing retreats, and these songs started about 2 years ago, and it took me a good long while to whittle them down.
Mm-hmm. I think you're our only artist this month that's using the platform Patreon to connect with our fan base. So this is that subscription service where people can pay at different levels to get a music experience from an artist that they like. So how are you liking this as a musician?
Oh, that's a great question. I've been, it's another thing I've been thinking about for years is Patreon. I kind of merged my musical world and the art that I make with my healing arts practice, because I curate a community called Honeycomb, and teach yoga and do body work and stuff. So for me, Patreon makes a lot of sense because it sort of centralized the channel of my community. And then I released my EP on Patreon as a kind of deep, heartfelt thank you to the people who support me on there. And it's been amazing. I sort of had this awakening of like, I'm actually a person for whom Patreon is perfect. And I've known that for a while, but it took me a while to really get there. And I'm so glad to be on there now. It's helped a lot make me feel more focused.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that you mentioned in your profile with us this month, and I think many of us feel this way and people can relate to it, that the world needs music and healing right now. Do you have any tips for us how to get through it all?
Oh, well, I think that like spending time with music for those who love music, spending time with the things that you love is a good place to start. And then I think beyond that, for me, it's like just keep coming back to yourself and keep coming back to your body. It's really easy to like dissociate or distract or just kind of like float away, especially when things are uncomfortable. So that's my practice right now, is just like existing in my body moment to moment.
Yeah, I get that. Before we go, favorite holiday film?
Oh, I'm like 100% in the Elf camp.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's pretty cute. They have like elf creamer at the grocery store I saw the other day.
Nice.
Anyway. Well, Chris, thanks for hanging out with us and being a featured artist for this month and your new EP.
Thank you.
Change, right?
State Change, yeah.
Comes out next month. Cool. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, and still ahead, everybody, we've got our performance from Sarah Slaton, Machulinia, Monshare, and the Sun Beaches. We're all going to be chatting with them. And now it's time to check in with our hosts.
Yes, and before we get into that, I also want to mention that we have our top 1023 songs of 2020 coming up on New Year's Eve and all throughout New Year's weekend. So basically, you get to tell us your 10 favorite songs of the year over at our website, indie1023.org. Do it by Friday at 5, and then we are going to count them down New Year's Eve and all throughout the weekend. The staff favorites are also coming up as well. So I wanted to ask our hosts for at least one of their favorites of the year. Alicia, what is maybe like one of your favorite songs, favorite albums, favorite live stream, something?
Okay, I'll plug this real quick. I got a chance to write for NPR Music this year for their top best songs. And Leon Bridges' song Sweeter was the song that I was able to write about. And that has just been such a special song trapped in that difficult moment this summer. So anyways, I wrote about that. It's one of my faves.
All right, keep an eye out for the rest of Alicia's favorites. And we're going to ask Jason Thomas, our afternoon host. First off, how's it going over there? I know you got a kindergartner, and that's been fun for you.
Yeah. But actually, his birthday is tomorrow, and then Christmas is right around the corner. So it's just like bang, bang every year. So birthday, Christmas, just.
Birthday, Christmas. All right. What music has been helping you get through 2020? What's one of your favorites of the year?
Well, it was funny. Back in the summertime, we all did our songs of the summer. If there was a song of the summer 2020, and I picked Never Come Down from the Neverly Boys, which is a really dark song about a breakup and I want to die, and it's a really catchy sounding song. And I liked it at first, and then I realized what was going on in the lyrics, but it seemed like a fitting song for 2020. So that's one of my picks right there. Never Come Down from the Neverly Boys, Dave Siddick from TV on the Radio. That's his project. I really like that song. That song stuck out to me for some reason, but I'm okay psychologically, I think.
I think that's kind of like everybody that picks something for the summer is like, I'm okay. It's just like this year is not okay. And this is a really good reflection of that. So do you have any holiday plans? Are you guys doing anything for birthday / Christmas / New Year's at home?
No, it's laying low. But I did hear you mention Elf earlier, and my son watched that the other day for the first time, and he really lost it with the machine gun snowball fight when Buddy just starts hitting the bullies with the snowballs. That's great stuff.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Is that your favorite holiday movie, or do you have something different?
Yeah, it's A Christmas Story.
Okay, all right. See, that one's moving up in the ranks too, which I get. It's a classic. All right, Jason, you can hear Jason middle of the days during the weekday, also on the weekend. He's also got Here First Tuesday nights, tomorrow night, which is an hour of all new music, so check that out. And Jeremy, I am always interested in what your favorites are of every time. We have the new Waking Life playlist out right now on Spotify, which is a collection of some of your new favorites, but what is a big one for you for the year?
Oh, well, I think it was just the anticipation of this one because it didn't come out until last week, so I guess it's just really fresh in my mind. I just spent this amazing weekend with the Avalanche's latest record, We Will Always Love You. And if you know the Avalanche's past records, I'm glad to say you're stepping back into that world. It's just this kaleidoscopic, like worldwide thing. And the track list is insane because, I mean, it's the people that are guesting on this record, Perry Farrell and MGMT and Johnny Marr and Blood Orange and Leon Bridges, and it just goes on. And a lot of times stuff like that, you know, it doesn't end up being as good as it is on paper, but this is as good as it is on paper at least. And so anyway, I'm really happy to say Avalanches are 3 for 3.
All right. And when they announced this album, I immediately thought of you. I was like, Jeremy is going to be so happy. And I feel like we were waiting all year for this one to come out because they announced it, back in March or April or something?
Putting singles out a little bit at a time, I guess, all year long. Kind of what Gorillaz did too. I mean, they were trying to one up each other all year long, it felt like. But yeah, I guess I was kind of predestined to like it, but maybe I was easy. You know, I could be easily disappointed too. So I'm glad to say that I'm not. So that's I cheated a little bit. I hadn't even heard the entire record when I put it in my top 10.
It had to. It was one of those immediate ones, and that is a battle I feel like all of us won. Everybody wins in that kind of situation where like Gorillaz and Avalanches are.
Yeah, just keep up on that ante, guys. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. So, what is one of your favorite holiday movies then?
Well, I just was reminded we just watched Scrooged in my house.
Oh, yeah.
Like my daughter saw that for the first time, and I hadn't seen it in a while. I think my two favorite Christmas movies are Scrooged and Rocky IV.
Ooh,
Yeah.
see, that's one that nobody ever mentions that one. Of course, Jeremy Peterson would. Of course, Jeremy Peterson is our morning show host. Jeremy, good to catch up with you.
You too.
All right, and I get to talk with Matu Linnea next, which is really exciting because he just put out a new album in October, at the end of October, a follow-up to your last album, Girl. The new one is called Hexatica. Tell me about crafting your sound between these two albums, Girl and why can't I remember the name of this right now? Hexatica, I just said it. But you say it's kind of a collaboration between house, R&B, Latin, and pop music. So how did you land on that sound?
I would say like I started working on this album right when I finished the last one. And the first song I did was Blue Wave with Cadastronaut, and it has kind of like a more of a slower kind of less dancier kind of vibe, and I really dug that, but I also wanted to still incorporate like house music and really like high energy music. So I really tried to build the gap between the bridge between Blue Wave to like my older houseier stuff. So that was kind of the challenge of what the record.
And you are working a lot with a ton of artists on this album. My Loves, Rare Birds, they're featured on the website right now with one of your music videos, also Micah Ray and more. So tell me more about your collaborative process, working with different people, writing with different people, and then recording and releasing music with all of these amazing voices in our community.
Yeah, it's been so great. Everyone kind of works differently. I mean, obviously in COVID, I would record with them in person, but during quarantine, some of the stuff was done, in people's homes, and they would send it over. But it's kind of different each time. Like sometimes I'll have like an idea for the song and I present it to them and they respond with lyrics or whatever. And sometimes I don't have any ideas. I just have the beat and then they'll kind of run with it. So it kind of just varies on every person. But everyone that I worked with, I can't say enough great things about them. I'm constantly inspired to keep creating. So it's fun.
Awesome. And is there anybody here in town or in Colorado that you haven't worked with yet that you do want to work with?
Like Trail Company, I think they're really cool. Some Beaches, hopefully. Yeah,
Yeah, we've got some good artists this month. You guys should just like start a super group, the December Local 303 super group. We'll make that happen. So this new album is out now. You're still kind of rocking this one, but since everyone's been in quarantine, have you been making new music that you haven't released that you're going to be maybe pushing in 2021?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple songs that are kind of like early process, but I actually started this weekend to get back on the keyboard and start messing with stuff. So I'm really excited. I want to take it in a different direction and just keep challenging myself.
And we talked about all of the different genres that you like to incorporate. How do you write within each of those different genres as well? I mean, you just said keyboard, so that's why I'm wondering do you kind of start out a certain way with each song, or does it kind of depend on what you're working on?
Kind of just depends. Like sometimes I'll start a beat and then it'll be super housey, and then I just like take everything away and then it completely changes its vibe. So it just changes it from each. I mean, yeah, sometimes I can have a song and then 6 months later it's completely something else. So it just kind of depends on each track and each artist I work with.
Absolutely. All right. What is your favorite holiday movie?
Batman Returns.
I love that. I just watched that like 2 months ago and I was like, oh yeah, that's what this is. Awesome. Perfect answer. Matulina, nice to meet you. And thank you for being a part of the Local 303. And things back to Alicia.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Coming up next, we've got Mon Cher. Megan Holton is Mon Cher, and she put out her debut album in July. And when she sent it over, I just fell in love with it. It was very lo-fi and breezy and just perfect for that time of year. It's still a banger. It come December as well. And I'm so happy to welcome you to the Local 303. Nice to meet you, Megan.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I have Caitlin here with me.
I was going to ask.
Help produce the album and is the drummer for when we play live. So yeah.
Now, do I understand you've never been in a band before?
Yeah, never really been in a band. I rehearsed with a band when I lived in Florida for a while, but then I moved before we played any live shows. So no, yeah, this was kind of, I always played guitar by myself until I didn't.
Yeah. So what's your musical backstory?
Yeah, I taught myself guitar at a young age and kind of always would play cover songs and do busking and stuff around cities, but never really felt the urge to create and write songs with guitar. And then I had this wonderful roommate who had Ableton and showed me how to produce music on Ableton. And that just kind of changed everything, being able to put drums to your guitar and made the vibe be able to stand out, and spent the next 2 years digging into Ableton and getting good. And yeah, so that's it.
Yeah. Tell me about working together and producing your debut.
Yeah, we're missing a third. Amanda Abate is also a producer and our keyboardist. So yeah, I basically get the songs, I don't know, maybe 80% written. I feel really stuck. And then in my mind, I was like, cool, I can release it. And then Caitlin, she was like, no, you need a producer and you need every writer needs an editor, that kind of thing. And so we brought in mixing and mastering. I didn't know any of those things. So we brought in Caitlin and Amanda, who studied music like in school. So that was really, really helpful. And we would just come over and hang out, and I would sit on the couch and watch them produce my songs from afar. And and it kind of came together, and it's wonderful being able to work with other people. You just really can get into this like hole by yourself where you can't kind of see out of the trees you're in. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and Colorado and Denver specifically has such like a cool collaborative scene. So what music has been inspiring you over the last handful of months?
Yeah, it's a good question. I have always loved James Blake, and he's been releasing some new stuff, which has been really great. So I've loved to see that. We've been diving back to like old school French music, like Jacques Brel and Sergio Gainsbourg, and kind of just doing just making coffee and listening to French music in the morning. So that's been really nice. And I'm trying to think of like, the Strokes' new album is really great. I've just always loved the Strokes so much, and with Rick Rubin produced it, right? It's cool to kind of see them bringing out new sounds, but in an old familiar way. So I've really enjoyed that new album.
Yeah. And now the hard-hitting journalistic question of the evening: what is your favorite holiday film?
So maybe this doesn't count, but I just choose all the Harry Potters because they used to come out around Christmas, and they always have like a Christmas scene. So that's what I associate. I might have taken her answer, but
I mean, my answer was Harry Potter, but we tend to go through Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings around this time of year. It's just like time to live in a fantasy realm. There's snow on the ground. We're just ready to disconnect from reality.
Yeah,
I feel it. Well, it's great to be able to talk with you guys on this fun virtual meetup. So we're going to have you guys mute, and we're going to transition over to our Colorado Springs band, the Some Beaches. I'll let Bruce take it away. And thank you.
How's it going?
Hey guys. So favorite band name of 2020, the Some Beaches out of Colorado Springs.
Thank you.
These guys followed me on Instagram, and I was like, all right, this is an instant follow back. And then I actually listened to your music, and I was like, oh yeah, this is actually amazing. So you guys actually came together at the beginning of this year, pre-pandemic. I had a whole thing planned out, and then pandemic hit. So tell me about how you guys have been able to pivot and, continue to make music, continue to be a band, even though you haven't really been able to be a band yet.
We've had plenty of time to work together, practice, find our sound, and just sort of unify as musicians. We've still yet to play live, but we're the closest we've been so far, right?
I would say we're right on schedule.
All right, and I gotta introduce everybody. James, I see you, Dakota, and then I don't have a third name.
Tyler. He sings and plays guitar.
Yeah, that's.
And who's the dog?
This is Bimo.
This is Bimo.
Okay, hi Bimo. All right, great. So, are you guys from Colorado originally?
No, Missouri.
Arkansas.
Missouri.
No, I was born in California, but I had a military family, so we moved around a lot.
All over the place. So I got to ask where the surf influence came from. Not that I am complaining, but Arkansas, I mean, this, and now you're in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, we're just about as landlocked as it can be here in Colorado. However, a lot of times during my musical influence and upbringing, I tended to kind of drift towards surf, if you will, and just kind of found a guy that was like, hey, let's do some surf rock, and knew a band that I hung out with at VOV, Heaters, shout out. And so basically we just, we are all about it, and we found a great band name, so we kind of rode with it.
And so we've got this first couple of songs out, this first batch. And you guys have mentioned that you're going to be releasing another EP probably in the spring, releasing a couple of singles. So what can we expect going into 2020? Like say first couple of months.
Well, if we're going into 2020, we'd be needing a time machine for one, and I'd rather not. So 2021, we're trying to do a new single, drop that around January, and then take a little trip to Hot Springs to visit an old friend of mine to do the EP. And we've already worked everything out. He's doing it pro bono, so we're really excited for that.
And our mad scientist, James, is going to help us record our singles in between now and then.
Yes.
Yeah, during the pandemic situation, we've pivoted more towards home recording. It's a little bit slower, but well, for one, it's cheaper, and we have better control over the results.
That was a little bit of shade.
Oh,
But
towards
totally
nobody in
understand. I see some
particular.
like head shaking though. Like, yeah, you definitely do.
We didn't have the greatest experience our first time recording together with the producer that we chose, but it is what it is. It happened. We were able to get a demo out that we were happy with. But we're also looking for a drummer too. Shameless plug. Sorry about that. We're just trying to move forward and make some new tunes.
Perfect. All right. Well, excited to go into 2021 with some beaches, not relive 2020. And excited to see you guys perform live, hopefully like next summer or something like that. And before we get to Sarah Slaton and the other Sarah, tell me your guys' favorite holiday movies.
James?
Nightmare Before Christmas for the aesthetic.
Yep.
I'm with mom share. Definitely some Lord of the Rings. My sister, who the song that you guys picked to feature this month, she passed away, and that's what I wrote the song about. But basically, she was a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and every Christmas I try to watch the extended version if I can.
That's beautiful. All right. Well, I'm going to go watch that tonight too. So thank you for sharing, guys, and nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Good to meet you.
We're happy for the future with you guys. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, up next, we've got the Sarahs. Hi, Sarahs, plural. And I say plural because Sarah Slaton, our featured artist for the month, she just happens to have a bandmate / partner / collaborator, Sarah Joelle. So, hey, you two. Hi.
Well, hey. Thanks so much for having us. How you doing?
Yeah, great. This has been such a fun evening. Like for me, this is my favorite time of the month. I'm excited to have you guys perform a song in a few, but let's get it out of the way. Favorite holiday film?
Oh, you go first, babe.
There's so many good ones you guys said. I really love Elf, but also if you're thinking like a sad family holiday movie, I love Family Stone.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
SJP. Another Sarah.
Yeah.
Because it's Sarah.
Good.
We only talk to other Sarahs and
Totally get it.
Yeah, right. You know, we can blame Hall & Oates for all of this. Okay?
Yeah,
Let's
it's really their fault.
Let's get to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
The mid 80s, baby.
80s babies.
My favorite holiday film actually really resonated with what Alicia said at the start of the hour with Home Alone. And you go into the theater. The first movie I saw in a movie theater was Home Alone. So I felt compelled to say that, but I have to mention that National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is like my favorite movie.
She loves it.
But I have a big soft spot in my heart for Home Alone.
Yeah, both of those so classic. Just both remind me of childhood also. So Sarah, you had that band Edison for a while before last year and you going solo. And that band was such a nomadic group. Like you guys recorded albums in different states and you toured a lot. Is it hard for you to just be in Colorado during this moment, or have you traveled at all?
Oh, child, I'm so glad you asked. No, it's horrible. I mean, it's what needs to happen. I haven't seen my family in a year. I miss my dad and my sister and my niece is growing up. Like every Zoom and FaceTime, it's like she's bigger. But yeah, no, I feel like I know I'll be back out on the road in the future, but I feel very, very, very blessed that I spent 2014 to 2018 on the road touring almost 8 months out of the year. And you almost, when you're doing it that much, can take for granted this like change of scenery every day and these new venues every night. And I'm really grateful I got to do it. And it has been hard. But I also have, for the first time, really learned to balance my life instead of just going nonstop.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Well, congratulations on the first official single, Get Up. It's out now. It came out over this weekend. You put out a music video. We've been jamming it on the radio. Tell me about writing this together. Did you both write it, or Sarah Slaton, was it just you?
No, we were actually together. So like, I think you were upstairs at first, then came down and like into the music room. And then, I had this like kind of basic finger picking on the guitar and some top lining melodic stuff going on there. And Sarah Jo and I really started writing it together. And it was this thing that went from like a voice memo or two into one night, just doing a lot of pre-production and it coming together. But yeah, we wrote it together and it was really nice to do it during the pandemic, and it was different than the process that I'm used to, but it was so beautiful because, you know, we've been playing music together on stage for a number of years. Like Sarah Jo was playing with Edison even on like our last tour, and it was really cool to come back and just have the two of us versus like there were 7 of us on stage all summer in 2019. So to bring it back to these kind of bare bones roots was interesting and really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Before we have you play your holiday song, what's the musical future look like for Sarah Slaton, the new solo project?
Ooh. I like it. Sounds so fancy. Yeah, you know, I don't know. 2021, my goal is to play as many safe shows as possible. And right now, one of my main focuses is a documentary style feature that I'm helping to produce with the Armory Denver. And it's called When the Music Stops. It will come out in February. And we're trying to highlight the pandemic's impact on the Colorado music scene and Colorado music economy. So that's a big focus for me heading into 2021 is to shine a light on the bigger issue at hand. But after that, and once we can get scaled back to normal, we're excited to get back out and tour. And I'm working on, we have a batch of songs for an EP that we're just figuring out how to put out right now. But we're really stoked on the new single that came out on Friday. And thank you so much for playing it each day. You guys are the reason that it's number 4 on Colorado radio right now, which has never happened to me. And that's awesome. So thank you.
You're very welcome. You're going to perform a holiday song for us. Will you introduce it and tell me why you chose that one? Because I just said choose a holiday song if you wanna.
I appreciated you asking, and we've never really done that before. I grew up in Arkansas, so some beaches. I'd love to connect with you later and find out your roots.
Yeah.
But I grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I went to college in Missouri. And growing up, I grew up in a very religious Bible Belt kind of atmosphere. And as much as I maybe have evolved from where I came from, and now in my state of thinking, the song that we're going to play, it brings me back to my roots and hearing it in church as a kid. It's called the First Noel, and it's just a Christmas classic that is close to my heart and makes me think of my mom.
Nice.
And thank you so much to Sarah Joelle for playing with me. And quick shout out, she's also in the band Lola Rising, which is the opposite of what you're getting tonight. Check them out. They're the best reggae band around. So
Another landlocked band making reggae music, island music.
We can all unmute or we're all giving you applause. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Yep. Totally.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Thanks to our sponsor, Stem Ciders. Thanks to everyone who has joined us this evening, the virtual meetup, second Monday of each month. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thanks to the crew, the artists, sharing your talent. It truly is a pleasure to be able to curate the Local 303 each month. And everybody, I'm so grateful for your music. All right, I think that's a wrap, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the December Local 303 meetup. Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. We love you guys.
We love you.
So proud of all of you.
Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Bye, Mike. Bye, James.
See ya.
Bye, Brittany. Bye, Donny.
Love yous. Thank you for having us.
Soda. Bye, everybody.
Later. Bye, Mom.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.